What's up, y'all? My name's Jovi. I'm struggle busting this week, and I'm a little behind, so it's gonna be a short episode. But welcome to the Jovial Pursuit podcast. I mentioned I'm Jovi. This is Brandon. Tough times around, but how you doing? You got your dad cap on. It's on backwards, so you're seemingly in a good mood.
Uh, you know, it's good weather. I had a good 4th of July. And
Nice.
so it was just good, and then had some time off today, so
Oh, you
pretty
chilling?
chill.
Nice. Nice
Well,
for a Friday.
I didn't have time off.
Oh.
I had everyone that was like, cause the Thursday holiday stuff, it typically happens for me when people are like, I could go to my appointment, but I can just and then that,
Fade there.
Yeah.
Chris,
And I was like,
it's near Christmas. I'm like, I'm not too bad. It's cool. I don't celebrate Christmas, but I think my emotions are all right for right now. So
yeah, and it's a weird combination for, I think, the therapist and client, when you're like, can we? And they're like, yeah, and you're like, oh, cool. I'm there too. Like, it's like this like high five. You're like, yeah, let's just kick back.
Very good.
Like, yeah.
No qualms over here.
Not at all. Not at all.
Nice. Jill she's doing the holiday thing for her facility. So, they separate who takes what day, to separate. And so she worked yesterday, but it was only kind of a half day, and it was pretty easy for her. And today's supposed to be kind of easy. I think they're just watching like films or whatever, and maybe just doing some light therapy stuff. Like,
yeah.
It's like it's like the final days of school where it's like, you know what? Syllabus be damned. Let's just hang out.
Yeah.
Go in the quad and we'll just chill it. That's cool.
Yep.
We'll talk about something, and it'll be all right. As long as you good today? Yeah. Cool. Sounds good.
Yep.
We're not gonna dive into that at all.
I'm pretty sure more people would show up. Like, if we had a space, like my dream therapy space is to have like something outside and like, sort of outdoor seating area sort of thing.
Hiking therapy sessions? When I tell you, so I got to start speaking it into motion. When I finish school, for this stupidity, I'm gonna have a special sect of my practice, hiking therapy. We chat while in nature. I could probably do that now as just like a hire a friend sort of thing and make more money, because insurance, they don't want to pay for just you kicking it in nature. But I'm like, y'all want me to be official or whatever, so I got to do it this way.
I do blame all of like the early like white dudes that like were therapists, because it used to be that you could charge and say, this is what I charge, and the insurance company would be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah. But it was all the like
outlandish,
like all the white dudes that were like, how about $700 for half hour? And you're like, what?
Guys clearly working only in LA, because where else at the time could you do that?
I don't know. They would charge ridiculous things,
bro. Outlandish. But I'm like, you've got Wall Street or upper like Manhattan of New York to be able to put that price. Florida, during its developing stage where it was still kind of high end.
Yeah, and Florida's not there anymore.
No, no, that's a different time. It's a different time. And you've got a couple cities in California, so we'll say San Fran, LA, and San Diego. Outside of that, you could charge those prices for real.
Yeah. Yep.
Trifling.
Yeah.
They were also the same people putting everybody in hospitals for no fucking reason. Just
Yeah.
like I don't want to deal with this. Or your husband said you're crazy, ship him out.
Yeah.
How the fuck did that? I told myself I was gonna be better about swearing today. I'm off to a bad start. So how the heck did that become a thing outside of misogyny?
Listen, the amount like I kind of feel so this is just my take on it. So there's the misogyny part, but I kind of feel like for men in that era, you had to sort of demonize or sort of pathologize emotions and experiences because if you didn't do that, it meant you had a lot of things you had to like deal with.
Yeah,
And so
that's fair.
like you had to work really hard to sort of keep up that facade. Like have you ever
Keeping up with the Joneses for real.
yeah, but I think people taking responsibility and people like looking in the mirror and being honest with themselves, that's a hard thing. And people generally need someone to like follow into that sort of emotional oblivion rather than go there themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So like have you ever read anything by Martin Niemöller at all? He was he was a pastor in Germany during World War II, and he was kind of buddy with Adolf for a little while, but he survived. And then his whole life goal afterwards was to try and help the German people like take responsibility. And so when people would be like, "We had no idea," and Martin would come in and be like, "We knew, we knew, we knew, we knew, we knew, and we need to own it." And this is awful because for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to walk this thing out and realize that not only did I know, but I knew and was following a religion that told me I shouldn't do those things.
Repentance is a two-step process. It's not just stating what you did wrong, it's fixing what you did wrong as best you can. You know, however you subjected yourself to it, you know, try and make amends in the opposite form. If you were silent about all the atrocities going on, you better be outspoken now that it's finished up. So respect to that guy. What was his name again?
Martin Niemöller. There's a great book about him. It's called "And Then They Came for Me," which was one of his phrases. Because he said, I can't remember. I think he said at first they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak up for them because I'm not a socialist. And then they came for the communists, and I didn't speak up for them because I'm not a communist. And then they came for the Jews, and I didn't stand up for them because I'm not Jewish. And then they came for me, and there was no one to stand up for me. And this idea of like sort of collective responsibility.
Yeah.
And even though people are like, whoa, I have no dog in this fight. Niemöller afterwards was like, if you're on the planet, you have a dog in the fight. Doesn't matter.
It's a great reflection of what's going on today.
Mm-hmm.
In the Middle East, as far as Palestine and Israel goes, where many of us are sitting on the sideline, not saying anything.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like,
oh yeah.
I see in some fashions why people don't say anything is because the system that becomes built is like you can't say anything without now being persecuted as well. And most people don't want to be subject to persecution. Some of us do end up lying to the fold and be like, hey, if it is what it is, then let's just do this. And that's just what it is. Me personally, as a person of the Israelite faith, it's like I personally denounce everything that's going on. And you cannot, for any standpoint, say it's a religious like faction of like saying this is our land owned us. reread the scriptures if that's the case, because that's not what's there anymore. So
Yeah.
it's we can't continue to just sit on the sidelines. Many people did that during civil rights. Many people did that during LGBTQ first marches and protests and things like that, where it's like we have to stand up for our fellow brethren, even if we don't necessarily agree with the full-on rights that they're asking for. It's like, bro, they're human too, and they do deserve it, regardless of if we agree with whatever they're talking about or not. They deserve it just as much as I do. It's goodness. It's ridiculous that we can't come to this point of understanding it. If it's okay, and like, especially on the rights front, we're talking equal rights, especially for this nation where it's supposed to be grounded on that fact, and fucking double down on it.
But I think people hide behind this idea, like, you can't grant everyone equal rights because it means you're forced to give up some of your freedoms, your rights,
in what capacity?
And share.
What am I actually giving up?
No.
I'm saying as like, okay, so let's look at the, like, especially for this nation, white supremacy side of it, where they're like, whoa, we can't say as much as we want to. No one's saying you can't say any of these things. You just have to recognize the repercussions that come with it now. You can still say whatever the fuck you want, but there's always been repercussions. You just had protections that are no longer there.
Yeah.
You still have the right to do that.
Yeah. I guess what I mean is not that you have to, but I think that's the fear that people, when they can't sort of see the value in the rights of others, I think that's the fear they hide behind, is like, well, what does that cost me? Or what is that, like, it's almost like this individualistic sort of anxiety about, like, how does that impact me long term?
My viewpoint is going to be very much different from the main status quo of this nation, being a person of African American descent, where it's like, we've had to fight for everything in this regard, and to see other people fight. For the most part, most of us are on board, because we know that rights for one is rights for all. If you look at the base of it, it's like, if you're really giving this right to somebody who hasn't had that right before, you're more now instilling that it's rights for all. Yeah. So again, double down on that fact. Where I'll say a personal matter of it, where I do struggle sometimes in the trans movement, where in some ways I see that they end up getting more rights quickly, or like through the push that in the general sense Black people don't get here in America, like, or even the Asian community and the Stop Asian Hate that pushed a bill like within months, as opposed to, we still get beat by police on a daily basis. And it's like, how can you guys push something so immediately without one of the most subjected people to these laws not being heard? So I deal with that on the personal side, but then also it's like, but that doesn't mean that other people should still be being beat on. Yeah. Just because my people are still being beat on. Yeah. And to come to terms with that is a hard battle for many of us to take. So I get the whole rights switch up, where it's like, but we have to understand, just because it hasn't happened for us, or it might be changing for us, doesn't mean that it's wrong. Yeah. I think if you could repeat the title of the book and the name of the author just for the people, I think it's a good read. Yeah. It's And Then They Came For Me. I can't remember the author, but it's about Martin Niemöller. About Martin Niemöller. Okay. Yeah. Can't remember the author's name offhand. Okay. Also, really terrifying book to read in the current cultural context and political context, because it looks a little too close to what I see is happening right now, especially with like evangelicals being like
super ultra nationalist, super conspiracy theory,
Mhm.
and like Donald Trump buddies. Like that's it feels similar to what some of the cultural dynamic was with Adolf Hitler, because he got in pretty
Smooth.
close with like the Lutheran community and being like thinking they were God's gift to the world because Martin Luther was German. So they were like, yeah, we're ultra nationalist, like,
Mhm.
and I think when you start elevating people to some sort, when you start putting deity onto a human,
Yeah.
in a political office, that's usually where I'm like, oh no 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 no,
It's
we
the
don't do
problem.
that.
Yeah.
It's like then we lose objectivity.
Hmm.
Then we become like we just become
Mental
weird.
mental slaves to it.
Yeah, and instead of just being like, yeah, you can vote for whoever you want to, but to create this sort of spiritual event around
Yeah.
political office, I typically am like, that's a red flag, especially after reading that book.
Hmm.
Because I mean I had heard his name before, and have you heard of Dietrich Bonhoeffer before? So
Bro,
Dietrich
you
Bonhoeffer,
you do read more than I do. That's
you
just
know you know a ton of stuff though. Like
I
so,
do. But I don't care about these random white ass names. I'll be honest with you. Like I read about them, but do you think I care about your name anymore? No, I
well,
don't.
he was a Lutheran pastor as well, and him and Niemöller would have these debates, and Bonhoeffer was like, no, Adolf's evil. We need to
Facts.
like not just like get him out, but Bonhoeffer actually was a part of several assassination attempts, and like was like, no, seriously, he's evil. And Niemöller was like, no, no, no. Maybe God will use him to elevate Germany to help lead the world into spiritual promised land. And so there's all sorts of stuff with it where
Bro,
that's just kind of
that
like,
the more the lesson that came out of that is God telling us, yeah, don't fuck with some people for real, because they don't have your best interests in mind, only theirs. If
uh,
anything, that's the lesson that came out of it. Don't become hyper fixated on a man. My guy said, stop idolatry. Like,
mm-hmm,
stop idolizing people to the point where they become the forefront of your entire personality, because you lose
yeah,
all sight of humanity in that form.
mm-hmm,
And this is not to be just become hyper religious or spiritual on the matter, but in the basic sense, for anybody on a psychology point of view, where it's like you don't,
mm-hmm,
when you become so obsessed with someone, you lose yourself.
mm-hmm.
You lose yourself, the ability to think for yourself, the humanity that's within yourself, any compassion, any grace that's within yourself. You lose all that to take on a personality type of a devious person.
Yep.
Is that really what you want? To not be able to be you?
Nope. I like my autonomy, but I also like everyone else having their own. Just because it's
Thank
what
you.
makes it makes what that's what makes life interesting is the sort of collaboration between different people and perspectives. So it's
Finding a way to live with everyone
mm,
shows the measure of a person, not just the measure of a man, but the measure of everyone. To be able to tolerate certain things, I don't see how some of you happiest of all people deal with it as much as you do, because as someone who's not happy all the time and still tries to deal with it, I'm like, man, I want to beat people up. I want to
mm,
put hands on people, and I'm trying to
yeah,
figure out how you don't want to put hands on people.
yeah,
Here's
yeah.
looking at you, Brandon. How is it that you get through not putting hands on people when you're upset with them?
Oh man. I think for me, it when I'm that mad, and that frustrated. I think what's tough is that I still see it. So I see it as still a trap for me, because it's kind of this sort of like carrot out there that's like, you want it. And I'm like, yes, but it won't do anything. And then I'm going to have to eat it after that even more. So not only will I have to like go through the process of like, I did it, now I have those consequences, but I'm going to have those consequences. And then people are going to be like, you shouldn't have done that. And then I'm going to be like, you don't get it. I still had the moral high ground the whole time, because if I'm just going based off of sort of this justice, I still had it and acted out as a result of it. And I lost the sort of the moral high ground in a way. And it's a trap. It's just a trap.
I want to punch you in the face.
I
want to punch you right in the face.
Well, isn't that it though? It's just a trap. It's
obviously it's just, Brandon. Yes.
That's what's so tough about it is like, so for me, I like
that
to just
we're so
go,
much alike.
I like to go do like physical activity then to like clear my head. Like I'll
punching
go run.
people in the face is a physical activity, Brandon. It is. It is.
Yeah, but like
so that should be okay. You said physical activity, it should be good.
No, it's for me a lot of times it's just let's go for a run, let's go bike, let's go get out in nature. So for me, like getting outside is quite literally my spot to like meditate, sort of, think things through, bounce things off the wall, just to sort of be like, okay, how do I find peace and sanity in this crazy scenario? Like when you talk about finding not wanting to throw hands, like I don't know how everyone else did after the presidential debate, but I wanted to freak out because like I'm sure like everyone has to know we don't look great as a country when we have people that are like, I want to be president, and one who clearly has dementia. Like he's a human and he's an old guy. Let's not villainize him. The poor guy is there. And then on the other side, you have someone who's like clearly just like trying to tell everyone that he's the best there ever was. So and then you have them arguing about golf handicap at the end. Like that's where I went out and I went for a walk and I was like, oh, like this isn't gonna work. We're stuck, and we got to find the humanity in both candidates, and we got to find ways to sort of meet in the middle. But it's hard.
Bro, you are so much more the mature version of me. Whole time I'm sitting here thinking, damn, he's really got his head on his shoulders. Which is obvious. Like, you got a whole professional career. I'm like, damn.
I mean,
at this point, I would have boxed people.
I mean,
that's not true. Obviously, that's not true because I'm sitting here pseudo complaining about my personal life, but also like, I haven't boxed him yet. I don't know. I'm just angry.
Well, I think the difficulty for a lot of people that go into the therapy profession is there's a lot of internal work that you have to do to become like pretty excellent at it. But one of the things you also got to do is you have to become proficient at finding the humanity and the good in the people that you meet with. That you're like, you're wrong, people suck. I agree. I don't disagree. Like, my colleague a couple months ago walked in my office and she was like, she was like, how are you doing? And I was like, people are crap. They're always gonna be crap. Like, bottom line.
Facts.
Like,
people fucking suck.
Like,
But I'm here for him, you know?
yeah, but at the same time, I think unloved and uncared for people are the ones that suck the most. The ones that don't have people that are willing to go the distance and like walk those things out and be like, you need to work on this. And you know that. And I'm going to walk this thing out with you. And you are really hard to love sometimes and really hard to care for. But the more we do it, the more you're going to be like, I should probably now that I'm in a safe enough space to walk this thing out, I should probably work on some things. And then they're like they turn into great people. But that doesn't change that the starting line, they suck.
I hate it here. But bro, and I don't deny anything that you've said today. You're telling the truth. It's hard to accept. And it's just one of those things that I'm just like, oh. I don't know how you got here. I'm happy you got there and you're out here willing to spread that type of message of like, bro, sometimes you just got to deal with it and it be like that sometimes. But if you want to be better, then you got to do it.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, fuck.
If it makes you feel any better, everything that I've said so far, there is a part of me that literally is like, shut up, stop talking, because this means like, so what's going to happen this week? I'm going to come to a moment where I'm going to be like, I'm so annoyed. And then I'm going to be like, remember what you said on the podcast? Be like,
I do that all the fucking time, and it gets so nervous where I feel like I get some advice this week. It was really good, and then 4 days later, hey, you remember when?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember.
It's so bad. Because at the same, I mean, because it's true and it's good and it's true for everyone, but that doesn't mean that it's easy. It's like a daily battle to like.
None of this shit's easy, and that's what I keep telling not only myself, but for everyone that comes to me about like help. Where I'm like, I'll be the first to tell you, it's not easy. Like some things are, if you simplify it, yeah, it's easy, but doing the thing is a lot more difficult. So like, for instance, saying you forgive someone, it's really easy to do. It's so easy. Follow through, remembering you were hurt and you also forgave that person and you can't bring it up. Shanking a twist. They're out here no damage. And it's just me doing it to me. Because I know better now.
Oh yeah.
And because I live this whole motto of know better, gotta do better. Fucking bullshit. Like you guys should follow it, but like also I get it if you battle it. Because it's like it's tough.
Yeah.
But, man, it is the thing to do. It is, and I'm like, I want to like just strangle me. Just wherever I am, I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Because again, now that I've acknowledged it, and I want to be an example, you're better than me, man. Yeah.
I don't think so.
You got your head on your shoulders. You don't tweak out.
No, I tweak out. I don't tweak out like a ton, but there's still moments where I'm like, just come unglued. Like my wife and I were having coffee this morning on the deck, and she was like, "Hey, you kind of went too far in some of the things you said," and I was like, "You're right, 100%, you're right." And so then I had to own it, and you go to the person and had to be like, "Hey, so that probably felt intense," and they're like, "Yeah," and I was like, "My bad." And they're like,
sometimes I don't want to say that. You ever just feel like it's deserved, and that's how you try and justify it? Is no, because I've dealt with this for too long. You deserve every lashing that you get. But then on the back end, you're like, yeah, no, I might have been a little heavy-handed.
In the moment, I there's definitely that sort of like, especially if that perspective of if you feel like you've got like the like you've put up with it enough, there's been enough warnings, especially if I've gone through like my sort of protocols of like communication and been like, I warned you. There's a moment where there's still part of me that's like, all right, now we crossed this threshold. I think what's hard, and this is don't again, there's a very big part of me that just wants to be like, shut up, stop talking. I think what's hard is knowing that there's part of me that looks forward to when they cross that line, because I'm like,
shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up.
That's what I mean.
Shut up. Don't call me out like that. Don't you dare call me out like
that's not you. I'm saying, like, there's that moment where you're like, all right, you've pressed the button. Now it's time. And that's usually when I'm like, am I really being kind? If there was part of me that's like, do it, press the button. I dare you. Because I have not only do I have the sort of moral and ethical high ground here, now I can't even be blamed for it because I warned you and you did it.
Stop. No, stop it.
That's usually the one for me where I'm like, and that I don't know if I ever mentioned to you, like Winston Churchill said that he loved Hitler at one point in one of his personal writings.
You did tell me that.
Yeah,
it was early in our show. Yeah, because he was just as much of a fuck up. Like, he was just as devious, but it just so happened to work for the Allies at the time.
Yeah, but his whole thing was like, once you found someone evil enough that you didn't have to restrain yourself anymore, he was like, yes, I can actually let totally loose. And there's not too many people that are that evil in my world. I mean, there's people that are foolish. Yeah. There's people that are.
Father hasn't blessed me with that type of vengeance from myself yet.
But that's.
Because I asked. I did. I'm like, yo, give me a victim, bro. Give me somebody that you say, yes, I give them into your hand. Do what you must. Where's mine? David had Goliath. I'm like, where's mine, bro? He said, you might go too far.
But here's the thing. Yeah, you definitely would. For sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Dude, have my back.
The image in my head, I would too. Like, the image in my head, like if he was like, hey, here's your person, it's like, I hand them over to you. There's part of me that imagines you just like skipping to whatever that interaction is gonna be.
Just the jovialest pursuit that I've ever had.
Hey, man. We're gonna throw hands today, and I don't have to
be
have
the most sadistically happy person.
I know.
It'd be like if Barney went on a rampage where it's just, I love you, you love me. Big. Murder, she wrote.
Yep. That's that was the image.
Give
in my
me
head.
my Slender Man moment. Give me the creepy in the woods, slow walk like Jason. I'm coming to. No matter how fast you run, I'm coming for you. That's what you need to know. I'll come out of the shadows. Let me pop up. Just how the fuck you get there? I was having sex. Leave me alone.
That's so random. What?
Because he was always killing. In the beginning of the movie, this teen couple having sex. And he's like, I'm killing somebody. As soon as I get out this water, I'm coming for somebody. I never had to have the sex, so murder.
Yep. So that's the real reason. He's lonely.
Because he's a virgin.
Full disclosure, I've never seen any of them. Never watched any of them. None.
Okay. You're missing out on the beginning ones. The latter, okay, like the first 2, 3, missing out.
Yeah.
The subsequent like 12 after that, forget about it. Like the day they made Jason Goes to Hell for Sci-Fi Channel, we lost. We lost
For
it.
real?
I'm almost positive there's a Jason Goes to Hell.
No way. Why are we?
There's like a Jason 2099 where he's in a space station, bro.
Huh?
Jason Goes to Hell, 1993.
No way.
I think that's more like where they're, because it was supposed to be the final, but then he just kept coming back. Like, oh goodness,
Dude.
All right, let me just give some good advice and let's sign off. All right, because clearly there's I got much on my chest and it's not getting better.
But this is gonna be one of those episodes that I think for both of us we're gonna be like, why did we record that? Because there's gonna be moments where it's gonna get referenced, and I'm gonna be like,
bro. Here's the thing: I'm not too worried about it at all because we're not the only ones who feel this way.
fair.
Oh yeah. All right. Good advice. Let's end off on a good tip. Let's try this out. I got two pieces of good advice real quick. I'm gonna try and squish them in so I don't have to make 2 different reels. First piece of good advice this week: everyone has a limit. Please respect it. You saw this episode. No explanation needed. Like, respect people's limits, respect people's boundaries. Second to that, this is for those ultra busy people out there in the world. Even busy bees take a nap in the flowers. Go hang out in nature. Go rest, recuperate. I need to. Again, see this episode. It's just really hot this weekend, so that's not gonna happen for you, boy. But I do get to see my good friend here in 2 weeks' time. I'm excited. You better have the office ready. Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Live episode coming at you. And then the next one, Brandon's gonna make a special trip out here to San Diego for me. So look forward to that in the future. All right, you guys. Peace and love and happiness all around. Bye-bye.